Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fifth webcast. We're super excited today. We have Jason Bolden, who is a creative director of JSN Studio and a celebrity stylist from Los Angeles. So excited. He and his husband have a great show on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it. I certainly have. It's called Styling Hollywood. Here's Jason's social. And Jason, how are you?
I am great, Levi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I would love for you to talk a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got to what you're doing. I've pulled some of your recent press here. We can sort of take a look at that as you introduce yourself.
Okay. Wow. Well, again, I'm Jason Bolden, creative director and celebrity stylist, and my firm is called JSN Studio. I pretty much work with everyone in the business, from directors to activists to A-list actresses and actors. Some of my clients are from Yara Shahidi, Trevor Noah, Taraji P. Henson. Kind of the list goes on and on and on and on.
Amazing.
So that's pretty much my story.
I'm looking at this headline. It says you started studying pre-med. Can you tell us a bit about that? That's interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in St. Louis, and in that particular part of the country, there's a couple of things that you can do, and it's you become an attorney, a doctor, an engineer. So right. The idea was for me to be pushed to go in the direction of the medical field, and I went to Northwestern, and up there I was going to study pre-med and become an OBGYN.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Well, OBGYN, celebrity styling, and all sort of...
OBGYN, jewelry, all the same thing. All the same thing. All the same thing.
Well, that's wonderful. I want to introduce myself a little bit. I'm the archivist at David Webb, which is a heritage American jewelry house, if anyone doesn't know. I get the fantastic job of going through all of our records, our pull sheets from editorials. We have a lot of drawings, original renderings, upward of 40 to 50,000 records in the archive. And, thinking about this topic of like red carpet jewelry, red carpet styling, to me, it all comes down to a reference from the archive, which is the bold jewel. And jewelry is so, I think, important for, finishing touches on a look, pulling everything together, drawing the eye here or there. So these are some Richard Avedon shots from 1972 that I wanted to pull just as like a starting point of boldness. Great covers from the 60s and 70s, Irving Penn, and just color and design and how those this cover is all about jewelry in a way, but then on the April 1970s cover of Harper's Bazaar, that's all about color and the pattern of the fashion that's coming in on the side there.
So beautiful. Yeah. It's really great. I love how some of the most iconic photographers shoot some of your most iconic, heritage pieces.
Totally. There's a Town and Country cover. These are all about gold and like layering and totally having this big jewelry moment. And that's for me what I love seeing on the red carpet. So I also love this headline: "The easy, racy, glamorous, and essence of fashion at night." I mean, that she's ready to go straight to the red carpet.
Yeah, she's like me right now in my living room. I'm like,
perfect. I think we're both wearing our David Webb rings.
Because listen, I love how substantial it is, but it's still very, it's legitimately casual everyday glamour.
Totally. So jumping straight in, talk about color and, the lip, the earring, the dress. This look was so great. This is Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah, this look was really kind of, again, like what you were saying, like how sometimes you feel like the jewelry is the final touch. Mm-hmm. For this particular look, the jewelry was the first thing.
Oh,
I saw the earrings. Yeah, I saw the earrings at the Beverly Hills store.
Yep.
And I reached out to the PR team and I was like, I want these earrings.
Right.
And I tried them on with Cynthia. She fell in love with it, and we just based the Gucci dress off of this. This is for Gucci does a huge event in Los Angeles at the museum, and this was part of that. And we wanted to make a jewelry statement. The dress was this beautiful like plum, and we just wanted to kind of just play with colors. Even the way the lip goes with the earring to the dress, for me, it's the classic David Webb of just making everything that normally should not be going together, but putting it all together, and it always makes sense.
It's a bold look. I mean, it's not about everything like coalescing and coming together. It's about like these, to me, it's about these individual elements like standing out.
Yeah, I mean, that jade, and it's really, really fantastic. That hammered gold, it's just, Webb just does it for me.
Thank you. We love that. This look, I mean, I think there's so many different elements to this, and we'll sort of go through the look piece by piece, but like starting with the earrings, how can you not look straight at these earrings? They're so great.
Well, what's also really kind of magical about these earrings, I think most people, when they think of David Webb, they think about all bold colors. And when I walked, they were doing a showing in LA. And this, I was looking for jewelry for the Critics' Choice, and Cynthia was nominated for a Critics' Choice Award. And I had already had this beautiful Fendi couture gown that she's wearing. And it was actually Cynthia's birthday. And I call and I FaceTime her, and I'm like, I found these earrings. And I'm in there, and she sees the earrings, and she goes insane. And God. It just, again, Webb just seems to work. There's no real rhyme or reason to how to play it. It just always seems to work. And that's why I personally really enjoy working with David Webb, because it seems to always give a little extra something. It's always so smart. It's always so bold. And then there's this classicness still about it.
How often are you having conversations with your clients about like things that they gravitate toward, or, oh, I like this, oh, I don't like this, or I hate wearing necklaces? Like, how do you sort of gauge, the look you're trying to craft versus what they, prefer?
Yeah, I think for me, it depends. It depends on the individual. Like someone like a Cynthia is like, she wants everything bold. She wants outstanding pieces. Right. And that's why I always lean towards, I mean, as you see here, like she's in this window pane gown, but then at the same time, has loads and loads of exaggerated jewelry on. So this is one of those people, she's one of those people that like, you can have loads of fun with and kind of go over the top. You also have other clients who just want that one really strong, iconic piece. So we kind of focus on that. If it's going to be a dress story, then we focus on one iconic piece. If it's something really basic and really simple, then we can kind of go wild. But Cynthia's someone like, she wants wild all the time, but it just kind of always seems to work.
Absolutely. And these rings, I mean, you've got rock crystal and a purple sapphire on the top, and then a yellow sapphire on the bottom. And, I think you said the dress was a window pane dress. I was wondering if it was like, flooring or marble, like if that was the reference. But I mean, it could absolutely
it's like
stained glass or something.
Yeah, it's a play off of stained glass. But I also love, for me, what I've taken from Webb is looking at those images that you're showing from the 70s and how the idea of being able to just gather and layer all these things on top. That's one thing that I enjoy so much about it. And as you see here, it's like a lot of people are so nervous and so terrified of like layering things. But this particular situation, we're using all these different things that, and most people would never think about putting the yellow, the purple, the white diamonds together, but it just works. And Webb seems to always work.
It's true. I mean, and you've got sort of the color notes coming through, like a little bit of yellow in the dress, and then there's the ring. I mean, it all ties together.
Yeah, but that was a complete accident. I just fell in love with those rings. Yeah, perfect. I fell in love with those rings, and I was like, I want Cynthia to wear these rings. Yeah. And see, it turns out that it just works. It really, really just works, and it just seems so authentic, and it seems very clear that this is something that she really wanted to wear. So that's why you're connecting with it.
Totally. And then it's almost like a choice of, it could have been someone in their real life, like, these are my rings that I have, this is my fabulous gift, and this is just how it goes together. So it sort of has that aura. Just one note for everyone tuning in, there is also a chat box at the bottom and a Q&A. So as Jason and I chat and talk about these different looks, if you have any questions at the end, we'll have a Q&A session. So please submit there. Okay. Keeping going.
I just love that look.
I wanted to pull the archival sketches because so for the rock crystal ring, you can see obviously we've put a faceted stone in the center, and here originally it had like a cabochon stone, but the yellow sapphire was originally designed with a carved jade that could go in there. So we sort of we'll take a look at the archive and we'll find designs that we can revive and make now, and see how we can sort of, adapt it to a new
This is so
colorway.
impressive. Like, how do you guys, this is so impressive. Like, how do you store the sketches so they don't get damaged?
They're in glassines, like acid-free sort of folders, and they're all
Oh, wow.
labeled and filed in boxes, and
Oh my
a lot of
gosh.
them are digitized, of course. So this is the the digital archive that we're working with.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
They're super inspiring to go through. Okay. Oh my gosh.
This is why I love Webb so much. It just makes everyone feel like a queen.
Yes. Yes. Oh
everyone just feels like a queen, and it does this thing. Like, as you see in both photos, it does this regal thing, and then Cynthia's on the other side having so much fun.
Yeah.
She got an award this year for, I guess she was the rising star, but this is like this beautiful pale pink Versace gown, and then we just decided to kind of like play with the old Versace of it all, when Johnny used to like layer loads and loads of yellow gold. And again, the range of Webb is to be able to go from something so delicate, so elegant, from the diamond earrings that she just wore, and then now all of this hammered yellow gold, and it's just like thick, and it's like, it's just so substantial, but it's still so fresh, and it's a bit tough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it just kind of works. It added this edge that Cynthia really wants and what she's kind of known for. So this was just, I was just like, the more the merrier for me with the Webb.
And it's completely layered. I mean, there's like a bracelet on each wrist, a ring on every finger.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the one time we went without necklaces, because it was about skin, but we still were able to give you so much skin, from the bust line, the clavicles to the arms, but we still kind of covered the ears and the fingers and the wrist. But it's just so good.
It's beautiful.
If I would say myself, it's so good.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. I'm in agreement.
Yeah, so good.
So the Hollywood Reporter cover. This is like a whole spread. Everyone strap in, because this is a great story.
I mean, I when I got the call to Cynthia was going to be doing the cover for the Oscar Hollywood Reporter, and the first thing that came to mind with me was I wanted to show the Cynthia range. And with that being said, she is a jewelry girl. She collects jewelry like crazy. And I actually introduced her to Webb, and she didn't realize that a lot of the substantial, heavy, hardy jewelry that she had been buying and wearing this whole entire time, a lot of it was a spin-off of all the things that Webb has done over the years. So she didn't even realize that was basically the pinnacle of what she had fallen in love with. So in this spread, I decided to do loads of Webb and just show the range, because it just speaks to Hollywood for me. It speaks to glamour. It speaks to quintessential movie star. And this cover kind of says it. It's like she's in this beautiful white Roland Mouret dress, and she has these huge plates that we fell in love with. And she told me, she was like, she felt like Queen Nefertiti.
Absolutely.
Like, she was just like, it's something kind of really smart about it. And it's so modern and it's so fresh, but it's still very striking.
And it's like, I mean, it's easy to say this, but it's actually true. This necklace is a necklace that you can wear all glammed up going to an evening event, but you could also wear this during the day on, a chic blouse or something.
You think about, this is just a basic white linen dress, and we decided to throw something so substantial and a bit more special on top to kind of lift the look, and it did it. Right.
And there's a whole spread throughout the Hollywood Reporter. If anyone Googles it.
That necklace. I mean, as you can see, the Hollywood Reporter decided to crop the whole look and just wanted to focus on that because it's so iconic. This is an iconic look. I mean, there was one point where Cynthia changed this for her avatar for her Instagram.
Oh, I love that.
It's such an icon. It's so iconic, that, and then the ring on her finger. I mean, it's just, it was, I saw it, I was blown away, and I told her, I was like, if you don't have to wear anything, but you have to wear this necklace.
Right. And then, so you can get a little bit of a closer look. This is the archival drawing. It was actually a necklace that was originally designed as a bracelet. So you can see sort of,
Oh, wow.
here, I'll move
I didn't know that.
Like that's sort of the lion or the leopard would just sit right on your wrist, and you would have the hammered gold section go around.
Wow, I love that.
And then the cage ring that she's wearing is a ring that had never been produced before until a few years ago. So here's the record of it being designed. And then I think it was David Webb cages his animals. Someone wrote that. And then we finally decided to unearth that rendering and make it into an actual piece. So there it is.
I mean, to see that ring in person it's out of this world. Yeah. The artistry of it is just, it's out of this world. Like, it's a
little cheeky, it's a little fun, you know? It's got a
wink. But it's like, it's three-dimensional. It's like, it's insane. Like, people were going crazy over it on set. They loved it so much.
Right. Another shot from the spread. I mean, you know, our black and white enamel is so iconic for us. This is called the Chevron Ring.
I mean, she wanted to take all of that home with her, but I told her she
oh, well, you know.
I was like, you have to probably give that back. This was really fantastic. Again, I mean, as you can tell, like, jewelry is so important. And this whole entire spread almost became, you know, a jewelry moment. It was, you kind of, the clothes kind of faded away, and it just became Cynthia and David Webb. It was like this perfect love story for those two. And it's just how kind of iconic, yet still modern and fresh the white and black enamel are. It's just like, it's really, really, it's just new. It just feels really new.
I mean, in the 60s, these were pieces that were like really playing to that like op art and modernist moment of like everything being black and white, everything being graphic pattern. Like if I flip through back a little bit, like the Vogue cover here with the zebra stripes, like, you know, our zebra moment is so strong. That was Diana Vreeland making all those choices. So it's this through line, right? Of black and white is always modern, and here it is. I mean, I had to throw this in. This was you carrying her, I think.
I was carrying the jewels. The jewels. I didn't want the jewels to touch the ground. No, but this is I mean, this is what I love about the jewelry. She has this really amazing, iconic, expensive necklace on, but it's something still very playful and light about it. So it goes to kind of that transition of like, it could be taken very serious, but at the same time, you can have so much fun with your jewelry.
Totally.
I can't even talk about this one. This is
oh my gosh.
I think this was my first Webb moment where, like, I guess I'm one of those people who are actually known for like piling Webb on, but this was my first moment when I decided to use all the Webb I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
And this particular year, Raf Simons made Yara this custom yellow dress. And it was a pretty basic sheath dress with a huge black bow on the back. And I was kind of like, how can we make this super young, super fresh, and just something with some twist to it?
Yeah.
And what did I do? I called the Webb. I called David Webb, and I was like, I want everything.
It's that layered gold look again. I mean, it's so
good. But here it is. Here's someone who's probably at this time, she was probably 17 or 18. And she's taking a brand that, and most people would probably think it's a pretty mature brand, but she's made it feel young, youthful, and also now, you know, young girls her age are gravitating towards it because it's so cool. Like those nail earrings are out of this world.
Yep. And I think she's got your ring on. One of those rings.
She has like 3 of them on. I think she's 3 of them on.
Perfect. And the link bracelet too.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's so strong. It looks like something, it's that moment where it looks like something that's been passed down that you can't live without. And it's really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, talk about a connection to the 60s too. Like a simple sheath dress is so like mod. You know,
I know, right?
Walking out of London in the 60s like this.
Love that.
Here's a closer look of some of the nail pieces, just for
it's so good
tuning in, and all the hammer.
I love that link nail bracelet.
Yes, and that was a unisex collection. I mean, you know, I wear the twisted nail bangle. I
have that bangle. I love that bangle.
It's great.
I need that link.
The Met Gala. I mean, this was camp, right? I think this was
camp. She was in custom Prada, and she kept asking me, she was like, what's the jewelry like? What's the jewelry like? And I was like, we're at the Mark Hotel. And I was like, I have to just run down the street. And I run down the street. I run down the street. And after we did the very first fitting, and loads and loads of people were wanting to give her jewelry and dress her for this. And I was like, it's camp. I was like, the only person that can execute camp is David Webb.
Oh,
and they because when you think about it, it's like, it's in my mind, I'm like, this is what everybody was wearing in the 70s and the 60s. Right. And they were having these, like, they're at the Carlisle having, like, you know, martinis and things like this. Yeah. This is what I needed to see. Right. But it was still fun. It was still fresh. It still felt very young. It felt like something that, like, she actually had in her jewelry box. Yeah. But it just made so much sense. She was in this, like, lilac and crystal kind of like swimsuit with the coat. And then this was really funny. This was actually, and I had no idea this was Webb until you told me it was Webb. Yes, this was part of one of her hair references for the Met. Yeah. So it was a combination of this hairstyle and another hairstyle. So it's kind of like, I'm just so in sync with David Webb. Sorry. I'm just we appreciate it. And I had no idea that this Naomi Sims was one of, but now that I look at it and I focus, I'm like, it is Webb.
Yeah, it's from 1969. And all of these necklaces are, I think we called them like the gold nugget necklaces, because it's just chunky gold nuggets, like interspersed with links. And, you know, these were very sort of everyday gold necklaces. They were in vogue like in the 50s, so that's a little more of a conservative look. But like 1969, that is a moment of change. And, you know, Naomi Sims is one of the first Black supermodels. Like, she's
where was this what was the
I think this was Vogue.
I mean, like, think about how iconic that was, and how, like, Webb was at the forefront of dressing women of color in Vogue,
right?
Like, and really kind of digging deep and connecting to, like, the African heritage of it all. It's so beautiful.
And this is a bracelet that's just sort of, you know, it's got a hinge in the middle, so it's sort of hinged on the back of her hairdo. I mean,
I'm like, this is just beautiful and iconic.
So here's some grabs from social that sort of show you more of the moment, like that great necklace, a ring on every finger again.
The ear cuff, the necklace, that necklace is, I mean, look at those rings. Like, it just all makes sense.
Totally. Closer look at some of the jewelry. So the interesting stories about these, the necklace, it's called a swag necklace because it's sort of got that like drape in front of you, but you wore it spun around. I mean, what's more campy than wearing something, you know, the opposite way how you're supposed to wear it. So we loved that.
I mean, that was really interesting. And we played with that necklace. And the cool thing about that necklace is how it's shown on the form, it can be placed on the body like that. We tried it that way. We put it on the shoulder. It laid on the shoulder a bit. And then we flipped it to the back. And it was like, oh, it should be from the back. Because then when you walk away, the coat was straight. And you have this other detail kind of dripping down your back. It's just, it just feels so good. And just it's just so smart. I keep telling everybody at David Webb to send me that because I just want to wear it all the
time. Okay, we'll orchestrate that. And then the earrings, the funny part about these earrings is that these they were originally designed as brooches. So here I have some of the drawings. This was the biggest ring that she was wearing. The mega cubist ring is what we call it. And then here's the renderings of the brooches that then got turned into ear cuffs because they like perfectly climb up the ear.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And then the swag necklace, here's the original rendering. Hadn't been made before until a few years ago when we put it into production. They're all like beautiful matched sapphires with the emerald sort of swag coming down. So that's a one-of-a-kind necklace from something
that's actually one of my favorite necklaces that I've ever put on anyone in my career.
Oh, wow. Thank you. And here's some references of like necklaces going down the back, right? You have Barbara Streisand. And then this is an ad campaign we put out a few years ago. So it has a precedent. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, what can you say about this? Just powerful.
Well, first of all, this is Janet Mock. And like, she's in Valentino Couture. And to know Janet Mock, she is like, Valentino Couture is like, should be her name. That's pretty much all she wears. Wow. And this particular moment, she kept saying to me, she was like, she actually said to me, she was like, I want to wear David Webb. I want to wear
Oh.
David Webb. And I was like, okay. And it just so happened that you guys are known for, we had to find something that felt appropriate, interesting, and yet still had some drama to it. And I'm so grateful that you guys have stuck with your kind of iconic moments of the heavy yellow gold and playing with colored stones and things like that. So this, on top of that, it just worked. Yep. I went in, I picked up 2 pair of earrings, and we put those on, and then that was it. And then she actually when she took the gloves off, she had a ring on, but we never kind of got to see it because she sat inside at the Critics' Choice with it on. Right. But it just works. It really, really works. And it just shows you how couture and avant-garde, the jewelry that you guys have, just connects with couture.
Definitely. Another great colorful moment with this lapis.
Oh, this is one of those earrings that I saw in the window. And I was like, I need this. Ava is in custom philosophy, and this was at the premiere of When They See Us. I think it was at it was in New York. It was at the Apollo Theater. It was at the Apollo, and Ava just wanted the movie to be about the movie, and she wanted one particular thing that kind of would pop and tell a story, and it was the earrings. We just focused on the earrings and kind of leaned in with that. Like, again, to go back and just talk about like how you guys use so much mixed media, and just like everything has so much texture, and it just has everything just feels like it's been dug up from somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? It's like everything seems like it's such a found inspiration. Everything feels like an artifact sometimes for me. And it just felt really special and super, super substantial.
You must have an amazing memory and like a Rolodex of things that you've seen, whether it's fashion or jewelry, but like, do you maybe you get brought a client or someone says, oh, okay, I have this great event coming up, and you're immediately like, okay, this is the thing that we should base the look around. Like, how do you sort of conceive of where you start the look?
I guess it depends on the event a lot of times. It depends on the event. It depends on the fashion profile and the story that we've decided to build. Right. So when you kind of see, like, for example, when we just looked at the images of like Cynthia and like Yara, it's a story. Sure. So I always think about a story. Like, that first look is the beginning of your story. So I kind of try to set the tone. So for me, it's just like, it's depending on the event. It's depending on the client. And most importantly, I have to create this story. Yeah. So it's based on that. But like, what's been really helpful in all of my stories is David Webb, because again, everything feels very iconic. Everything is like, the jewelry it's very particular, and it's for a very particular woman who's decided to be so grounded, super smart. Her strength is there. Yep. And like, I like to lean into that. There's power behind all this really kind of hard and tough jewelry to wear. Yeah.
I mean, we, with all of our clients, we have this story that we tell often that is like a woman who had been a David Webb client for a long, long time. And she was quoted as saying that, like, in order to wear David Webb, you have to have courage. And I feel like that's really true. Like, you have to choose it, you want it, you own it. And it becomes part of your sort of like, it's powerful persona.
That's how I like to look at it, because it's like, it takes courage to be this bold. Yes. Yeah. And kind of like, just go at your own pace and just basically just do you. And I think that's what's really great.
Yeah. And then the Queen Latifah. Love this look. Where was she going? What was she doing?
Oh, I love this. Yeah. Oh my God. This was for Puff Daddy's 50th birthday party. And she was like, I want a really great necklace. And I was like, duh. I was like, what? I mean, so it was really great. And I just kind of pulled everything together. She had this white Ascana suit on, and this black silk tank under it. And then the necklace just kind of really brought it completely together.
Yeah.
I really, really love this look.
We call this the Origami Necklace. So I wanted to pull out the drawing here. You really see like it's
Oh, really?
structured like these perfectly
Love it.
folded sort of, plates of gold that then get hammered.
Well, that's really amazing.
Yeah, it's a great piece. Okay, well, that is our section of all of our prepared images. And we did get a lot of great questions submitted. So I'm just going to jump straight into that. Let's see, our first question is, how does styling someone for award season work? How many events do you plan for in advance? I mean, obviously it's sort of a crazy time of like, I have all these back-to-back events, but how do you sort of prep yourself for it?
I mean, it's just, I don't even know. That's the, for me, I don't really even know. Like, I kind of just, I get the calendar and I try not to think about it, and I just start prepping for everything.
Right.
Everything is a huge prep. I'm always like digging deep and again thinking about what my story is going to be. Right. So if I fell in love with what Valentino did in the last couture collection, I kind of base it off of that. Then I think about what's my jewelry story going to be. Yeah. So it's just kind of like I kind of sit down once I collect the calendar and I think of like what's my story going to be. Right. But it's a lot of prep.
I love following you on Instagram because your Instagram stories are always like such a great mood board. I can tell what you're looking at and thinking about at any given do you ever do like physical mood boards or things pinned to the wall?
I don't. I'm like so trying to like save the planet and not cut trees.
That's good. It is Earth Day, so that's good.
Yeah, so I try not to, but I like the idea of like being able to just have it on my phone. So when I'm with clients, I could always just kind of say, oh my God, look at this. This is what I'm thinking. And, versus like, hold on, let me grab my mood board from home.
Right,
travel with it.
That's good. Someone asked, what is your favorite part of styling?
My favorite part of styling are my clients. Like, I like to be able to interact. I like to laugh with them. I like to see the stories that we've created. That's probably my favorite part.
Do you ever worry that an over-the-top look won't work on the red carpet? Is pleasing a client more important than the look? That's a tough question.
Yes, pleasing a client is definitely more important than the look. I think there's ways you have to figure out compromise in these situations. There's also, for me, I'm really lucky because I've created a relationship of trust with them. So when something feels a bit over the top for them, it's something that I probably would never suggest to them because you actually have to really know them. And you have to build, certain people just aren't over the top people. Like, for example, there's someone like my client, Ava. Like, Ava likes she has a very uniform style. So the most I've ever pushed her was for this particular Met that just passed. So it's just like, I think you have to control your personal, what makes a good stylist is controlling your personal style and not trying to dress someone so much like you, because the personalities don't connect.
That makes sense. All right, we have a question that says, how important is it for you to speak to the heritage of a brand or designer when pitching a look to a client? Are clients interested in the association of David Webb with fashion history and Hollywood royalty? I mean, you sort of touched on this, I guess, that when you sort of bring it full circle, then that's
I think for me, they're all like presenting that necklace to Yara, presenting the jewelry to Yara and telling her the story. Like, even now after this conversation, I'm going to go back to Yara and say, wow, Naomi Sims was in David Webb, Vogue. That was a particular moment and how full circle it is. So I work with people who want to be informed, who like the education. And also I'm a history buff, so I love to hear things like that. So I love to share it. So it's very important. And some people don't connect with other particular brands because political things or, whatever the case may be. So you have to be informed. And a lot of times you have to inform them.
It's sort of interesting when you were talking about like coming up with your storyline for a look. Like, you think about the Met Gala and they sort of, hand you your storyline on a silver platter of like, okay, it has to be campy, but then I guess you get to sort of craft it yourself how that's going to come off because everyone's trying to achieve the same campy look. But
and that's what I love so much about the web. It's like it's such a huge range when it came to camp. And even if there were other people in web jewelry, it still felt so special, you know? So it's just being able to like, I mean, you guys are just very lucky because you have a great collection of jewelry, and then everybody actually gets to feel fantastic and special.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is the end of our webcast. I just want to thank you, Jason, for joining us and telling us all these great stories.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love web. It's my fave. Yes.
Thank you to everyone tuning in. You can watch all of our past episodes of webcasts on our YouTube. Visit us online at davidwebb.com, and of course visit jsnstudio.com too for more from Jason.
Thank you. Enjoy, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.